All right, this Delta math topic is called compound probability, which is when you have two different events and you want to find the chances of one and multiply by the chances of another one. So in the problem, it asks, a bag contains 7 red marbles, 2 blue, and 5 green. If 2 marbles are drawn out of the bag, what's the probability to the nearest 10th of a percent that both marbles will be blue? Okay, 2 things you need to be aware of. One, they don't really make it very clear, but you're pulling out a marble and you're not replacing it, and that affects what's left in the bag. That affects your chances. And then the second thing you need to be careful of is the format of your answer. If you don't know what a 10th of a percent is, you're not going to know how to answer it. So when you look at the chances of things happening, they're fractions. When you multiply fractions, you get a fraction answer, and then you take that and you divide it. A fraction is just a baby division problem. So multiply the numerator divided by the denominator, and you're going to get a decimal. And so when you change it to a percentage, you scoot your decimal to the right twice, and then you have to round it to the nearest tenth place. So even though we're being more specific than a whole number percentage, we're going to go to the nearest tenth of a percent. So we're going to have one number after the decimal that's going to give us a very specific percentage. So with all that said, we've got all these marbles on our back, 7 red, 2 blue, 5 green, all together, 7 plus 2 plus 5 is 14. Now they ask about what are the chances of getting 2 blues? Well, we've picked 1. So there's a chance of 2 out of 14 marbles being a blue, right? You imagine reaching into that bag, pulling out that blue marble and being like, yes, I got it. It's like the only one left in the whole bag. Okay, well, you only have 1 left, right? Out of how many? Well, we lost that first one that we pulled out. So we only have 13 left. So when you don't replace, you only have you lose 1 each time, right? Like if you're doing a bags and a marble kind of a question. So then those are our 2 events. We had 2 out of 14 marbles were blue. And then after that, we didn't put it back. So there were only 13 and there was only 1 blue left. So you go through and you multiply, you get an answer, and then you're going to put it on your calculator. So they show in the explanation here. You add up those. My phone is frozen. Sorry about that. Okay, we have these 2 events right here, and when you multiply them, you get 2 over 182. And when that happens, you just divide, and on a calculator, it will show up here as 0.01099, and we're going to move that decimal to the right 2 places per cent, means per 100, and every time you move your decimal, times 10. Times 10 again, that's times 100. So we're going to scooch our decimal to the right, and we're going to get 1.099%. And they want you to round to the nearest 10th. So we look to the right, and that 9 says up your score, because if I say you look to the right of that spot, and that's your mama, and your mama's saying if she's 5 or more, you up your score. If she's 5 or less, you let it rest. Okay, so the answer format they're looking for is 1.1. So just be very careful. If you make a mistake, read through what you did wrong and see if you can fix that problem. All right, so that said, we've got another marble problem. And this one says, a bag contains, surprisingly, 7 red marbles, 8 blue marbles, and 3 green marbles. So they're just changing up the amounts of colors in your bag, right? Now we got 3 marbles being drawn. So 3 different events, 3 different fractions we're going to have to multiply. What's the exact probability that all 3 marbles drawn will be blue? Okay. Exact probability means just keep it in fraction form. Whenever we divide, we tend to have to round those fractions. And so it's not exact anymore. So keeping it in fraction form in its simplest terms is going to be exact. So with that said, we're looking for, what is it here? Blue. Okay. So we've got 8 blue, 8 out of 18. And then we lost 1 in the bag. So 8 out of 18. We lost 1 out of the bag. We now have 7 blue out of 17. And then we lost, we're going for that 3rd blue. We just love blue. So it's going to be only 16 marbles left in the bag now. And we lost the other 2. We already drew, I should say, the other 2. And that's going to only leave us with 6 blue marbles. We started out with 8, went down to 7, then to 6. So what are the chances? Man, those are going to get high. Those are going to be like high numbers down here. Lots of chances would need to happen before you find out if you can actually do that. So showing you this, they show you the total, they show you the different events, and you go through and you multiply these three numbers. And when you do, simplify if you can, you might be able to see some ways to cut out early, like 8 goes into 8 once, 8 goes into 16 twice. Or you could say 6 goes into 6 once, 6 goes into 18 3 times. So you might see some quick ways. 1 times 7 times 1 is 7. See, we cut out having to simplify that. And 3 times 17 times 2 is 102. And we cannot simplify that any further. And that is exact because we didn't have to round any decimals. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you answer compound probability questions. Good luck.